Hey, how's it going?
Get the fuck out of here.
One?
Suck my ball.
Excuse me?
With water on.
On the other side.
Alright, who are these
See
people?
that? Just
Why are they
roll
here?
the fuck off.
I mean,
All water finds level.
interrupting me and shit.
Water seeks its own level.
Upside down.
Grab a spirit level and take it on a plane
You
with
can
you.
go to a nice,
Water
still swimming pool.
is flat.
You can see that the
Stop
water's
it.
flat on
Why
top.
doesn't the water
Stop it.
follow the shape of the seabed?
Don't be silly, because that's
Now water
silly.
always finds its level.
Stop it.
Contained water
And while that bubble staying perfectly centered,
not contained
Stop
on the outside of an
it.
object.
that's
You
proof
get
that the Earth is flat.
Horse shit. Flat is not the same as level with your fancy spirit level, and you'd best wipe that smugness off your face. Haha! Not today, cannon crew, you bloody bastards. Still, what's with all the sillies? I mean, surely if they keep swarming like that, they might collapse into a black hole of bloody irony.
Is water wet?
What? Water is not wet. Why are you even... God damn it!
Suck my dick one more time.
Oh yeah? Your mama's so fat, NASA thought they found another moon, but they had to classify her as a planet instead. Bitch. Well now, that was... I don't know what that was, but it was quite... something? I guess? So, they said something about flat and level? Isn't it a coincidence that I was going to address their comical conflation between flat and level? Anyway, this conflation is still a thing? Why is it still a thing? Normally when you kick their stupid shit around proving its ludicrosity, surely they would eventually stop repeating the same nonsense, right? Nah, who am I kidding? These so-called open-minded people don't seem to have the capacity to accept being wrong. I mean, I would assume it's blatantly obvious, especially after it's been explained to them over and over again. However, it does appear it is not. Somehow. Alright, here we go. First of all, let's get rid of this stupid shit right now. You must be taking the piss. I refuse to believe someone is this dense. Gravity. And yes, I know you lot deny it to feed the narrative, even when it's demonstrable towards the center of mass of the Earth. Overwhelmingly so, because the Earth is the fattest thing near us. Or is it, Delano?
Man, you look like a fucking dick. You look like a dick with a jacket on.
Hey, I may be a dick, but you need to have your eyes examined. This isn't exactly a jacket, now is it? Jack off.
Suck my dick, suck my balls. All that.
Charmed, I'm sure. Do you kiss your planet-sized mom with that mouth?
Suck my ass. Suck every fucking private part I got. I wish my nuts was in front of my dick so I could just drop them in your fucking face, you stupid bitch.
No thanks. And what is it with your ball-sucking fetish? I bet you're the kind of guy who would play around with a guy's dick until the cows come home. And we all know, we don't allow cows in the castle anymore. I'll be watching you. So, feed your mind, if that is indeed your real name. I'm pretty sure it's not. Is it? Water is a liquid. And what is the property of a liquid you are ignoring? What could it be? I don't know. Oh, here's a hint. A liquid such as water is unable to support itself. It's formless, and as such will always find its level, regardless of the container it's in. You could even say it becomes the container it's in. What the... Huh. Neat. So, with a level surface, apart from waves and ripples. Now, water always finds its level. And I do want to emphasize, level. Holy hell man, you even have a picture of how water would react. But you're purposely trying to distract from the fact that your container here is planet size. I mean, not to mention the amount of water you're using is about 25 times thicker than our bloody atmosphere. Which is way beyond what the Earth could actually support. It would either slow down its rotation significantly over time, or Earth has to have a lot more mass to keep that amount of water on the surface. It's blatantly obvious you lot are always having a really hard time with scale. This shit right here is laughable at best. Also, the bottom of your container could even look like this. And the water surface wouldn't even care you were flipping it off. Mind you, before you start screaming at the screen, this is a very small scale, as seen by the hand, obviously, so you're not gonna see any significant curve. And with that out of the way, let's get something straight here. In other words, let me level with you. I mean, we do have to be flat out honest here, right? We've got level and flat, both of which are entirely different things in reality. You know, that thing we all live in, the very thing you lot think you can cherry pick? When in fact, reality doesn't care one way or the other about your personal feelings or opinions. And just for reference, this level is indeed planet size as well, and you can clearly see I didn't really level it correctly because the bloody font is screwing it up. Blame the font. I'm not responsible for that. I just couldn't be bothered to fix it, but you know, just a simple example, so deal with it. Anyway, this is indeed the difference between level and flat. Level will follow the horizon, while flat will be flat regardless. And here's the magic trick. Flat can come in two types in relation to a planet. In our case, the Earth, the first type of flat is level, and the second type is flat that isn't level. This is entirely dependent on how it's placed on the planet, whereas level will always be level, but can never be flat. Strange, huh? Are you scared yet? Because here comes the scary word. It's all because of gravity. And yes, gravity is a theory, a scientific theory. Look it up, there's a difference. So let's have a look at them. Flat that is level is technically not level. I guess we could call it balanced using level as seen by these lines here. If you would add spirit levels, it would only be level in the dead center and not level on the edges. By the way, I used the planet size scale to make it more clear. Having a look at the flat one that isn't level, or rather not balanced, you can clearly see the direction of gravity. Both on the previous example and this one, it would be like walking up a slope that would eventually be almost like a vertical wall. So what is exactly meant by level? Visually it would look like this, and I placed it on the bottom of the planet to both show you how it works and of course to piss you lot off. Also, D-marble. Really? Your spirit level on your plane will always remain centered because the plane is following the curve. I don't even know what the hell you were thinking coming up with that nonsensical test. The plane is in fact constantly making all kinds of adjustments during its flight. The dipping of the nose is just a minuscule part of it. Again, big planet, small people, and plane not actually to scale. And just as an FYI, there is no bottom of the planet. That's exactly what Simon Dan always says.
They are suffering from that long-term condition known as Northern Hemisphere chauvinism.
So let's have a final look at them to get a neat overall picture. Enjoy! You done oogling the pretties? Good. Let's get one more thing out of the way. Level has in fact no meaning without gravity, and is completely absent in the weightlessness of space. Flat doesn't have this issue, because it is dependent on being on the same plane. You can achieve this without gravity, although using spirit levels to calculate the angle towards the center of mass of the Earth is very useful to get your flat shit flat, but it is not a requirement. I mean, you could also use lasers. Now, mind you, there aren't many applications for the flat constructions I described, besides mostly scientific ones. And most floors are too small for the curve of the planet to have any significant influence.
Now, if this is flat, it stands to reason that it doesn't matter what the size is.
Remember, the floors in my example were planet size, whereas even the largest building is smaller than a pixel on this image of the Earth. I hope you lot finally have an idea of the scales involved here. Because we're small. Really, really small. So, there's basically three types of flooring in construction. Flat, for example, merely means it having an even and flat surface. Then you've got the flat but not level floors, which I'll deal with in a moment. And of course the flat and level floors as discussed previously, which is technically a balanced floor perpendicular to the horizon. This is also the most expensive floor, because it requires special leveling mats during construction and tends to be used for larger floors. As you can see, there's no visible curve, because it's way too small to notice the curve. I can't emphasize this shit enough. We are tiny. Extremely tiny compared to the planet. Alright, let's have a look at the flat but not level floor.
Suck all dick!
Holy hell, dude. Are you suffering from some kind of genital-related Tourette syndrome, Delano? Or are we gonna have a problem here?
Go work my head.
Right. Well, don't let that door hit you on your ass on the way out. You hear? Where was I? Oh yeah, flat, that is not level. Flat is always flat, I kid you not. Flat is 100% flat, meaning it's all on the same plane. It doesn't care about the curve, it doesn't care about level, and there's something you lot can relate to as well. It also doesn't care about gravity. The only thing it cares about is being flat. Flat is an asshole like that. Huh, come to think of it, the resemblance is uncanny. Maybe one of the coolest examples of a completely flat construction is perhaps the LIGO lab, or in other words, Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, supported by the National Science Foundation, operated by Caltech and MIT. Here we have two lightsaber looking things, only they are a tad bit bigger than a lightsaber. So LIGO basically shoots a laser from a leveled laser array, so to speak. The laser is then split up into both detector arms of 4 kilometers towards the end mirror, which then bounces it back towards the beam splitter, redirecting it into the detector. Now, here's the thing. The 4 kilometer arms are flat but not level. During construction, they actually had to raise the mirrors at the far end of the 4 km detector arms just over a meter, which just so happens to be consistent with the curvature of the Earth. Otherwise, the lasers would in fact hit a concrete wall well above said mirror. Combine this with the fact that lasers will always follow a straight, flat path, unless they are near a supermassive object, much heavier than the little rock we call home, especially over such a relatively short distance of just 4 km. You can see how it becomes blatantly obvious how flat is definitely not the same as level. And since water finds its level, this would become a problem for the flat earth idea, when having to stare down facts like flat behaving quite a bit different than level in reality. One might even say level, oh, I don't know, behaves like it's on a ball, while flat doesn't? Strange how that works. One thing to note here is that you lot always seem to zoom in on small parts of the bigger picture. Obviously a bloody glass or water puddle, a swimming pool or a relatively small lake will not show you any significant curve. Once again, the Earth is frigging huge. I mean really, a glass of water? Are you dense or what, JayDreamerZ? I mean, in a glass you can even see the surface tension doing its thing, by either not filling the entire glass, or actually fill the glass beyond its capacity. That is if you weren't purposely trying to make it look as flat as possible. Dishonesty at its finest. Stop being dishonest. And it clearly shows you're working on a scale way too small when surface tension can actually influence it. And now about that pouring water on a ball. Delano. What the hell, man? A ball, ironically also filled with air, making it even lighter? This merely serves to indicate you lot haven't a clue about how gravity actually works. The ball is microscopic compared to the minimum size and mass required for it to have its own gravitational field. That mass tends to be around planet size. However, a small moon, a planetoid, or just a really big rock could work as well, but obviously would have less gravitational acceleration. In fact, it's completely overpowered by the Earth's gravitational field. Why do we even have to explain this? I mean, it's beyond obvious. Or at least it should be.
Bullshit!
Did you just break something?
Let me get that ball back.
Well, in case you haven't noticed, I tried my hand at a softer tone. But apparently Delano throws them balls like he just don't care.
Fuck all y'all. Suck my dick one more motherfucking time.
See? Why don't you go play with your balls or something? You a funny man, you. This is so fucking hilarious, this guy. Delano, dude, never changed. I don't have words for this. So, let's wrap this up. Next time when you start copy-pasting from your damn Flat Earth playbook, please revise flat and level, and remove water finds its level, because it's not helping your cause. Nah, you know what? Just throw the entire thing in the trash and learn some actual science. Flat Earth research. You lot clearly have no idea what research is, let alone understanding the scientific method. And there were 2 more things, right? So let's first address Miguel Angel. Water is not stuck to the outside of the Earth. It is in fact contained on the Earth, due to gravity. And the mere fact that level is exactly how I explained it should give you a pretty big hint there, buddy. And what was it that Delano actually asked? Is water wet? No, you dolt. Water itself is not wet. Wet is something we came up with for when water is interacting with something else. Is water wet? Get a clue, you potty-mouthed ball-sucking fetishist. And some of you actually claim water is blue when in fact water is completely colorless. It's not blue as your kindergarten teachers taught you. It seems you've been indoctrinated by elementary art class. The reason why, for example, the sky looks blue is not because your story is about the water above a firmament. It's actually because light consists of all the colors of the rainbow, as you know. Blue is the one which likes to scatter all over the place, because it's one of the shorter and smaller light waves, and as such plays bumper cars with the molecules in our atmosphere, which causes the blue color. And that is actually 3 more things. But who's counting? Alright, every one of you flerfers get the hell out of here. The Lord of the Lands does not take kindly to the likes of you. Everyone else, thanks for watching, subscribing and liking, and I'll see you later. Fucking weirdos ambushing me right outside the castle with their arrogant headache-inducing horseshit. I mean, who in their right mind...